And shifting to the Middle East, Hamas has reportedly fired over 20 rockets into Israel from Lebanon. Israel says that most of the rockets were intercepted, with the remaining falling in open areas. The recent flare-up has nations worried as the international community is urging an immediate ceasefire. At least 18 countries have called for a return of the Israeli hostages and have voiced their concerns of an Israeli operation in Rafah, which serves as the last bastion for almost 1.5 million Palestinians. Now, U.S. President Joe Biden spoke to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu over the phone on Sunday, and the president reiterated his stance on America's support for the release of Israeli hostages that are still being held by Hamas. However, President Biden also told Prime Minister Netanyahu that Washington would not support Israel's military operation in Rafah. After the brief phone call, the White House confirmed that Israel has in fact taken American concerns into consideration.
That's going to be right at the top of the list for Secretary Blinken, to keep pushing for this temporary ceasefire. We want it to last for about 6 weeks. It would allow for all those hostages to get out, and of course to allow for easier aid access to places in Gaza, particularly up in the north. So he's going to be working on that very, very hard. He'll also be talking to the Israelis about their intentions and their thinking about Rafah military operations and sort of where they are in the planning stages for that.
Now, Israel says that it would go ahead with its plans to invade Rafah if Hamas fails to release hostages.
The release of the hostages is the top priority for us. The female and male hostages. If there is a deal, we will do a deal. If there will be a deal, we will halt the operation. We will do whatever is required to bring the hostages back.
Meanwhile, Egypt is hosting truce talks in Cairo, with the United States and Qatar serving as moderators. Hamas officials have confirmed their attendance and have even said that they have no major issues with the latest ceasefire plan that's been proposed. Israeli officials have also been invited to Cairo, and if they choose to attend, this could be the first parallel talks between Israel and Hamas since October 7th. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken is in Saudi Arabia to discuss the post-war governance of Gaza.
Most effective way to address the humanitarian crisis in Gaza, to alleviate the suffering of children, women, and men, and to create space for a more just and durable solution, is to get the ceasefire and hostages home. We need to improve deconfliction with the humanitarian assistance workers, and we have to find greater efficiency and greater safety, and deconfliction is at the heart of that. Is that there really are two paths forward for the region as a whole. One, ridden with division, with destruction, with violence, with permanent insecurity. The other, greater integration, greater security, greater peace. I think the meeting today shows that many more of us want to pursue that affirmative path. And I'm grateful to our colleagues from the BCC for working in partnership to advance in that direction.
Now, despite launching rockets into Israel, Hamas has signaled that they have no problems with the Cairo peace plan. And the ball is now in Prime Minister Netanyahu's court. Will Israel go ahead with its plans in Rafah, or will it agree to a ceasefire? From impeachments to inaugurations, if it's a political story, we are on the scene. The race for the White House is heating up.
We're beating Biden.
How dare he say that?
If it's breaking news, we're live with the latest coverage. From the White House, the State Department, and Capitol Hill, we know the issues, but above all, we know the players to bring you the latest in-depth analysis on all the key stories that we're covering. I'm Eric Ham. Join me from Washington here on Firstpost America.